Hey everybody, Ginger here. If anyone's still out there, still at all paying attention to this channel, thank you. I appreciate it a lot, actually. Even though, yeah, I'm sorry, I have been completely just gone from YouTube, at least for quite a while, much longer than expected, to be honest. There are a handful of reasons for that. Most of them are just I had a ton of work. I was basically just overwhelmed with stuff. Just a lot of my editing work and writing clients and everything just had me incredibly busy. For months, I was working with a client that had me doing literally an article a day. Like I said, for months, on top of one or two other projects. I just had no time. That's why, if you prefer the audio version, that's exactly why I haven't been updating that. Just because I had no spare time whatsoever. And now we're actually getting ready to move. So there's a lot of things going on with that too. We don't know exactly where we're going to move to, and we don't know exactly when, but we know we're going to by the end of the year. So we've been working on getting the house ready. Fortunately, that's proceeding apace. My I'm actually done with that one client. Currently, I only have one active editing project going. It might go up to two here shortly, but that's okay. That should still allow me time. And just in general, so I need to take a break. I was tired. Like I just kept thinking over and over and over again. I'm tired, 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 tired. So I was just like, you know what? Something's got to give. This is going to give for a while. And also, the channel did get a hard strike. I'm so proud. Uh, Being such a small channel, we managed to run afoul of the Twitter algorithms, which is just great. It shows you they're programmed to look even for the little guys like me. So that's cool. And I emailed Steve Dace a while back to let him know that I had gotten my video taken down talking about his book Fauci and Bargain, and that got read live on the air. It was like the top of the show, so that was pretty cool. A momentary amount of fame. It's not my full 15 minutes. I think it's more like however long they were reading the email for, which is probably about maybe a minute. It was short. Uh, so I got 14 minutes left. Dang it, and I'm gonna get it. Oh, hi Margot. I see you over there in the chat. I kind of had a feeling you would be you were the one I saw watching. Anyone else is welcome to jump in too, but I understand I kind of dropped this completely unannounced. But anyway, so that's basically where I've been. I've just been tired. I've been just trying to sort things out, get work settled out and all of that. And also I will just forewarn, I am going I'm going to be spotty yet for a while on the show. I don't expect the regular schedule to come back, honestly, probably not until we've got the house sold, which won't be which won't be at least for a couple of months. Anywhere from 2 to 4 months is what I'm kind of predicting. So we'll see. But just during that time, I'm just going to have a lot of stuff to be doing, and with repainting things, fixing things, decluttering, all of that jazz. So it's going to be a while yet. Yeah, Margot, maybe 2022. Once the sale of the house goes through and we get a new place, my time will become much more available. But again, I don't have a specific timetable on that. So stay tuned. I'll be popping up probably fairly randomly. But when I do, it's going to be cool because I don't care that I got a strike at all, because it's just fun. And what we're going to be doing here is there's going to be less Not that I hold back a lot anyway, but there's going to be even less of it going forward. We are going to be getting this up on Rumble as well. And thank you, Margot, congratulating me on the strike. We are going to be getting things up on Rumble because obviously we can't trust we can't trust the Twitter algorithms to be merciful. So yeah, we're going to have to be over there. I will stay here as long as possible. Once I get that third strike, though, donezo. And that'll be what it is. Excuse me. I was just eating something right before catching it in my throat. Sorry. So, yeah, that's basically a quick summary of that. Now, other thing I put in the kind of the tag over there on Twitter, Covidstan. Is this current push for vaccine mandates Covidstan's last stand? Is it the Blitzkrieg? And they're smashing through our lines for a massive assault that's going to take us out? Or is it the Battle of the Bulge, the last desperate attempt to go back on the offensive? I'm not entirely sure yet, but there are signs of hope that it might be the Battle of the Bulge. Why do I say that? One, has at Liberty Jen pointed out on Twitter last week when Joe Biden said, "Oh yeah, Donald Trump totally gets credit for getting these vaccines out." They've never given Trump credit for anything, so that itself is kind of a sign that they're getting ready to blame Trump for the vaccines, actually, or at least it's potentially a sign. It could also just Joe Biden being Joe Biden forgot the script and just let a little something slip out that he wasn't supposed to let slip out. Also perfectly reasonable. That said, if you've been paying attention, you probably have seen that there's some serious questions about what's going on with the vaccines, all the VAERS reports, the various side effects and whatnot that have been reported, what other doctors like Peter McCullough have been saying about it. And the most interesting thing was I just listened to, there was an interview that Steve Deace did with the guy who patented the mRNA technology that is behind all of the currently available COVID vaccines. And he was, I can't remember the details, that I couldn't relay them convincingly anyway, but the short version is that, and I urge you to go and watch it, go listen to it for yourself, and get the details straight from the source. I urge you to do that. But the short version is there are signs that possibly these vaccines are actually causing the virus to mutate in unusual ways. Like there is something that happens occasionally with vaccines in which they actually make the virus worse. Not just don't do their job well, not just have a side effect on the patient, but actually make the virus worse. And some of that has to do with the fact that they're so focused on just creating this one single protein. That kind of spoofs the virus into thinking that, hey, there's already a virus here, I'm going to pass on. Part of it has to do with it's just that one thing that's sort of active. Like all the virus has to do is mutate around that one protein in order to continue infecting cells. And there was other stuff too that I didn't honestly fully grasp, but the short version again is there's signs that possibly that's happening, that it's actually making the virus worse. And that kind of thing has happened before, apparently. Not often. It's happened 2 or 3 times in the past with vaccines that they've created. One of them was the dengue fever vaccine, which I think was the first attempt at using mRNA technology on a vaccine. It didn't work. It didn't work. It kind of backfired. So that's kind of cool in a way. And the guy actually did kind of warn that it's like this, it could wind up mutating into something not just that's more of that just spreads easier, but something that both spreads easier and is more deadly. Again, because of the vaccines. Again, these are signs. This is not proven yet. So I want to be clear about that, algorithms. But still, the signs are there. And there is reason to believe that. Like in Israel, almost all of the patients that are getting admitted to the hospital are vaccinated. Like 80% of the over 80% of the people dying from COVID with Delta or whatever that are over 60 are all fully vaccinated. In Massachusetts, something like 70% or something of the people getting admitted for COVID again are all fully vaccinated. So, and of course, you've probably heard by now, they're finding the same amount of virus in the vaccinated people as in the unvaccinated people. And yeah, blah, 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 Delta variant, whatever. Here's the thing. They told us that would work with the variants too, didn't they? Yes, they did. They were clearly wrong. Now, I'm not saying, one thing I'm not saying is that the Delta variant is a direct result of the vaccine. That's not what I'm saying, actually. Reason I'm not saying that is because as far as we know, that variant actually is the Indian variant. And the reason I say that matters is that India is one of the least vaccinated countries on the planet. So it's highly unlikely that the vaccine caused the Delta variant. However, they've been talking about Delta Plus, and I'm wondering if maybe it's really maybe that's what we're seeing and just not saying it. I don't know. There is speculation on my part. What isn't speculation, though, is the second piece of that they're getting ready to blame Trump puzzle. And that is NPR just put out a story recently that just today or yesterday or something like that, that acknowledging that the vaccines are causing the virus to mutate. Now, their spin in the subheading is that, well, the virus will mutate anyway, the vaccines just slow it down and make it more manageable. Now, the reason that's still worth noting is that this has kind of been the pattern. Say one thing, masks are the greatest thing, yada, 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 until you kind of can't really justify it anymore. And then maybe you let a little bit of truth slip out. Still kind of spun, so you can always backtrack on it later. And so that it kind of looks like you're telling the truth. Until eventually you just say, you know what, we're not going to do the masks anymore, and this and that. And of course they're back now, but that's beside the point. I just see this as part of the pattern of, okay, well, we doubled down. Now we kind of can't really not say it. A better example, perhaps, is the lab leak theory. They kind of ignored it for as long as they could until it became pretty much undeniable that there's a really good chance it came from the Wuhan lab, and they kind of let that. Suddenly it was okay to talk about, but of course they still spun, this, that, and the other thing to make it look like they were still concerned with telling the truth. I think that might be what's going on with the vaccines here. We're going to acknowledge that it's having some negative effects. We're still going to spin it, and if necessary, they'll slowly walk it back to go, you know what? Sure enough, they're bad. And whose fault is it? It's Trump's. Now, I kind of hope that happens, to be perfectly honest, because I don't want I want these mandates to get stopped dead in their tracks. These are horrible. This is what, if they continue with this, if this is blitzkrieg and not battle of the bulge, they are going to divide this country in two. There will be two classes, and it'll be vaccinated and unvaccinated. You already see it in the laws in places like France, in Canada, in Australia, and other places. And they're advocating for it here in America. We cannot let that happen. We can't. If that happens, America is done. Like there will, if it's not immediately pulled back, it it that is the end of America. It really is. I know people have said that about a number of things, basically since there's been in America. This legitimately will end it in all but name. There'll still be a country called America, at least for a little while, because we will split. It's already happening. We will split into separate geographical areas. It's already happening. I'm not gonna lie. That's part of the reason why we're looking to move to some of the places we're looking to move to. Because I want to, frankly, I want to be around people that are more likely to have my back and aren't interested in playing these games and playing these passport games, these mandate games. That's got a big part of it. I'm looking to be part of that demographic shift, and it's not something that I want to happen, but it's happening. And that's, of course, like I said, we can stop these stupid mandates, which, again, there are signs. There's lots of pushback on them. The Democrat mayor of Boston is saying these things are like Jim Crow, which, good for you, lady. I'm glad you're speaking out on it. 160 officers over in San Francisco are threatening to resign because apparently there's a mandate. There's a mandate there, I think, just for the cops. I don't think for the citizens. There's people looking to get the heck out of. There's more people looking to get out of New York now with de Blasio's mandates. All of that. You've got, of course, plenty of healthcare workers that want nothing to do with this. You've got people pointing out that there's tons of Black and Latinos that are not interested at all in this vaccine, and it intentionally or no, and I don't think it's intentional, to be honest, it winds up looking a lot like Jim Crow. You can go here, you can't go there. Just in the effect, again, I don't think that's intentional, but the effect is it looks a lot like it. And that's just interesting to me. So, yet there are places that are pushing the mandates. Walmart, Google, the United States military. That's always fun. The Washington Examiner. So if you're on the right and you've got a subscription to the Washington Examiner, I suggest you flush that thing down the toilet. And if you've got any of their paper still laying around, I hear newspaper makes excellent birdcage liners. So there's that. That also brings me to, we also have to be ready in case this is blitzkrieg, in case they do smash through the lines and take out and sort of take out the last official resistance to it. So what do we do? So there's going to be a lot of people out there. There already are people out there facing this. It's your job or the jab. All right. Those are your options. That's what a lot of people are getting told. I'm not a fan of this. And this is the time for us to assemble. Yes, like straight up Captain America, Avengers assemble. All right, people. We need to band together and help each other out. If you have the ability to employ somebody that has lost their job because they wouldn't get the jab, you need to do it. If you know of a place that isn't requiring that refuses to comply with a mandate, you need to make that known. Both so that people who lose a job can go looking there for a new one, and so that you can patronize that business. Because they will need your financial support, because I guarantee you the state will come for them. If these mandates continue to gain momentum, the state will come for anyone who does not comply, and that includes businesses. So you need to support those businesses. You need to try to make the connections to get people employed in those businesses. If for some reason that's not possible, we need to help each other figure out ways to be self-employed, to be self-sufficient. And I mean actually help, not just, not just thoughts and prayers, although thoughts and prayers will be absolutely necessary. We're going to need a lot of that. But we need also hardcore action. All right? And by that, like I said, I mean help people find jobs. Give them jobs if you have that opportunity. So to that end, anybody out there who's in that situation, I want you to DM me over on Twitter at Gingerman Editorial. Find me. All right? Send me a DM if you've lost your job. Send me a DM if you're willing to give someone a job. Send me a DM if you know of a place that isn't complying. Send me a DM if you know a great way to do some sort of online employment. All right? Because working from home you can do that from just about anywhere, obviously. And that may be the only option for a lot of people, depending on where they live. So do that. Obviously, I can't make any promises yet. I'm one dude. But I will do what I can. Because, like I said, we've got to help each other out. And it's time that we realize no one's coming to save us on this. There is no... The government's not coming to stop it. Even if the elections are not rigged in 2022, even if that, you really think the Republicans are going to fix everything? You've got Mitch McConnell out there telling everyone to get vaccinated. You got Mitch McConnell out there practically threatening people if they don't. I mean, you got Kristi Noem, who had been great throughout COVID, kind of basically saying, yeah, companies can do it if they want. I encourage people to go and find jobs where you're not required to. But she's like, yeah, if the company does it, I guess that's okay. Fortunately, DeSantis, while he's in general still promoting people getting the vaccine, he is not behind in any way the companies requiring it. So that remains good. Excuse me a moment. Okay, back. All the talking dries out my throat. Sorry. Anyway, so realize if we want to turn this around, or if we want to build up a bulwark against it, it's up to us. Unfortunately, the churches have, Catholic, Protestant alike, have dropped the ball on this from the beginning. And again, they're probably not coming to help. I hate to say it, but it's true. Our institutions are not there for us. Your celebrity crush isn't there for you. Your political crush isn't there for you. Okay? You're gonna have to do this. We are gonna have to do this ourselves. Not each of us is an island. Not each of us acting completely, separately and doing our own thing. No, we're gonna have to work together. All right? Wants to go a little good old-fashioned voluntary association and voluntary collective action in order to pull this off. So let's do that. All right? Let's start working together right now. Again, you lost your job. You're willing to give a job. You know of somebody who might give a job. You know some other way, some other great way that you're currently doing, preferably, or someone you know is currently doing, to be able to make a living doing online employment. Let me know these things. I get enough of them, I will set up a website that people could go to check it out for themselves. But I'm going to need, a dozen or so recommendations in order to justify doing that. Otherwise, I'll just keep feeding it through DMs and making connections that way, one at a time, which is fine too. But please do it. Spread the word. Let people know. This has to start happening, and it has to start happening now. All right. For one, if there's this isn't acquiescing. This is also pushback, because if the people pushing for the mandates can be made to see that it will not make us submit, that we can find ways around you, there's less incentive for them to do it in the first place. If they're not getting the desired result, it's less likely that they'll be willing to push back on it. And if they still keep going, well, then we become more cohesive, we become more concentrated, and that makes us harder to deal with. They can't deal with us piecemeal. Then they have to deal with us in bulk, and that's going to be harder to do. All right. Don't be an island. Make the connections. We're going to need to do this together. All right. Moving on. The last thing I threw out there was Trump 2024. Let me put it this way. I hope not. I don't want him anywhere near the presidency again. Excuse me. Gosh. Again, dry throat. I really need to, oh, geez. Oh, hey, Brian. Good to see you. Anyway, sorry for my voice. My goodness. Wow. Okay. I think I got out of control. I really got to remember to bring something to drink when I'm doing these solo things. I talk too much and it dries my throat out, and that happens. So, Trump 2024. No. Again, for various reasons, but I don't want all that. I don't want all that annoying baggage again, for one. Two, he was a better president than we've had for a while, but that's only because the bar is so freaking low. Yes, he managed to pull off a couple of things that he promised, but that's it. Just a couple of things, and even those were like the only thing that's lasting, really. The two things is the tax cuts, which that's not going to last, actually. And they were, let's be honest, they were small anyway. And moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, which, again, could be undone like that. Other than that, oh, I guess he established Space Force. Cool. I guess. He got some wall built. That's good. But again, not nearly as much as was promised. And it came with so much other crap on a stick. I don't want anything to do with it again. And also, remember, he's responsible for Fauci. He put Pence in charge of the COVID response team. And Pence put Fauci there, and Birx, and all of these people. And Trump could have fired any of them at any time. But he didn't. And at the end of the day, he didn't have the balls to act. He was weak in the end. Yes, he was weak. You throw it. Jeez. You throw a Twitter fit. Big deal. Don't care. I want action. And we didn't get much of it from him, especially in the last year of his presidency. We got squat. Except for a bunch of rhetoric with no backup whatsoever. And nothing I've seen since convinces me that it would be any different. Why? Because he's great at saying the right things in terms of what his policy should be, who the bad guys are, and all of that. I don't disagree with that at all. But he doesn't act on it. It's certainly not in any effective way. And then I know. The defense that's always made, well, he's listening to his advisors, or, people were working against him and this and that and the other thing. Okay, yeah. Of course, Congress was a big thing too. Yeah, right. Sure. Stupid. He was supposed to be the guy who was willing to tell his advisors to take a long walk off a short pier. He was supposed to be the guy who go, you know what? I hear you, but you're stupid. Shut up. I'm gonna do it this way instead. So the advisors thing doesn't work. He was supposed to be the guy who was willing to go against them. The smartest guy in the room, the art of the deal guy. Whatever. I'm not interested in that at all. Not interested in more of the same. Not interested in all of the drama. Not interested in the defenses and frankly the excuse making. I mean, he did have deep state working against him. That's true. I'll give you that. But he never followed through. And I think part of it was that he was used to the business world. I say want a thing done, it gets done. Well, politics ain't like that. You got to follow through. You actually got to check up and make sure that what you want to happen is happening. And he never learned that lesson. And he had 4 years to learn it. And also, he hasn't done squat for his supporters that are still basically in jail without getting charged. He hasn't done anything. The way he handled the whole election debacle, he instantly gave the whole thing over to people like Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood, who basically flew directly off the handle. Now, everything they were saying about Dominion and so on and so forth might have been true. I don't know. But there's no way you were going to prove that within a month. It just wasn't going to happen. If you would have focused on all the other illegal activity that was going on, the obvious stuff with the voter dumps and all of that, if you would have just focused on those things, like what's happening now with audits in Georgia and Arizona, and hopefully soon here in Michigan and Wisconsin, the stuff they're uncovering, thousands of ballots that can't be accounted for are obviously wrong, like fraudulent, invalid in some way. If they would have focused on that stuff, they might have actually accomplished something. But no, they went straight for the global conspiracy, which again may or may not be true. There's definitely reasons to be suspicious of Dominion. I don't dispute that. Probably just earned myself a strike. But Trump didn't handle it well at all. He put people in charge of it that just went for the most out there stuff they possibly could. Now you could look at it as they were trying to slay the whole beast with one blow. That's a charitable way. Or they're like, well, this is how you keep Trump happy while making sure that nothing actually gets done. And that's what happened. Trump was happy while they were on the case, but nothing was actually getting done. Almost seems deliberate, doesn't it? Again, Trump is supposed to be the guy who picks the people who can get things done. Again, that's not what happened. So, yeah, I don't want Trump anywhere near 2024 at all. If he runs in the primary, I will not vote for him. If he gets the nomination, I don't know. I might not bother, honestly, because he hasn't proved to me that he can lead. And I really don't want to give him another 4 years for him to fumble around and hopefully figure it out someday. Now, as far as, Margot brought up DeSantis, yes. Right now, I can't think of a better option. And he's actually out there with all the right rhetoric, a lot of the right action. without the baggage. So he's kind of been acting like Trump without all the bad parts. I see Brian does not support that idea. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just because he's been um, promoting people getting the vaccine, which I can understand that, but you have to give me a better option. Right now, I don't think there is one. Someone might be tempted to say Tucker Carlson. He's a pundit, not a politician. Could he make that transition? Yeah, he could, but I don't know how good he would be at it. I don't know. That's unproven. So we'll see how that goes. Michael Knowles. The authoritarian moment. He won't be old enough yet there, Margo. I'm afraid. He'd have to wait till 2028, I believe. Mr. Walsh? Oh, that'd be fun. That would be so much fun. I would actually, I actually pray that would happen because it would just be so much entertainment. He'd just be out there, dry trolling everyone. But I think that's going to about wrap it up for now. Going forward, start to look for me. I will let you know when I'm on Rumble. It'll be a little bit yet. I'm catching up with getting episodes uploaded to the various audio places, and I'll be working on that through the next week, and then I'll be starting to put up episodes of another series that I've worked on, a book discussion group. We've got a lot of those in the hopper already, and I'll slowly be rolling those out. By the end of the year, I expect to start doing that. So don't hold your breath, but it's not going to be forever. Yeah, that's it. So thanks for tuning in. I'm happy those that are still here. Like, comment, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. And I will see you the next time that I'm over here. And in the meantime, keep fighting the good fight.